Sam, you are quite passionate about not just helping this community in one aspect, be it academics or sport, but you're really taking a holistic view on community well-being. Why is that important to you?
Because we're people before we're anything else. We are a person before we are anything. Before I'm a sportsman, before I'm an engineer, I'm a person, I'm a human being. And if my being isn't balanced, then even if I excel in something in one area of my life, I will not be able to excel in the others. And eventually I'm torn down and broke down into using crutches like alcohol, sex addiction, all these things that are so common, gambling. You know, across our world, these are huge problems that break down families and peoples. In this community, Jerusha, it is so sad. I sat with a young man who told me that his whole life, from the age of 3, he was coached by his family on how to survive prison. Because the end point for his life was to become a criminal and then to be able to survive prison. So he was taught, instead of being taught how to get a future career and dream big and go somewhere, he was taught how to read tattoos, how to speak gang language, who to mix with, who not to mix with. When I go into the community, I see little kids of 2 and 3 sitting, rolling, imitating that they're rolling marijuana joints, and that they're sitting with the Amstels, and that's what they're going to become. You know, we always talk, and I think this is something we forget sometimes. We say drugs are a choice. In this community, I don't believe that. I believe it's a culture thing that children absorb and adapt before they even realize they have a choice. And they don't understand that these things are actually a big, unhealthy problem for the rest of their lives. So, but we've had amazing turnaround in the community, and I think that's the beautiful thing here, is that young men are growing into great leaders, and there's been such wonderful stories of change.
In fact, in South Africa, we have a mindset that is terrible. We love to focus on the negative, but really Growing Champions is a story of triumph and success, and I want you to take us through some of the incredible change you've been privileged to witness.
Thank you. You know, Jerusha, the young man I spoke to you about earlier on, that started this whole thing inside of me, Keenan, his older brother, as I say, was involved in gangs and, drugs. And when I went to help Keenan along, I got to know his older brother. And just before Keenan, he did get selected to go to Write a Dream in Ghana. And he's now there for this 3rd year. He's the only South African in the 15 years that they've been running that they've selected. So he's done us proud. But his older brother, he was very concerned about before he left. He was tearful, he couldn't sleep, and he said to me, Coach Sam, I really need someone to look after my brother. I'm scared to leave because what if I come back and he's not alive? I'm even scared to sleep at night because he goes out and hurts people. And I don't know if he's going to come back alive. And can you help me? So that's where the rehabilitation element came in. And I confronted his brother and said to him, do you want to change your life? And he said, yes, he does. You know, desperately proud as you are when you're in a state of, addiction and things, and shame. But he took that risk. He took that chance on us because he'd seen what we've been doing with his brothers. And he went into rehab. He's now 2 years clean and sober. He's not only 2 years clean and sober. He went on, he dropped out of school, I think in grade 9. He went on to get business skills. He completed a course and graduated in business skills. He then went on to do coaching courses, and he now coaches in Growing Champions. The very children that he used to be the negative role model for and who were terrified of him as a gangster have now turned to see he could do it. This guy, who we were so terrified of and we thought, was just the epitome of evil, has turned his whole life around, and he's teaching us we can do the same. And we've had 5 others go through rehabilitation. We've opened up a Growing Champions home where the guys who've come out of rehab have come into a new home to live away from the environment and start to create a new life completely, because addiction is a lifelong disease, and even though you're clean, you have to be able to manage that for the rest of your life and change. One gentleman always said to me, you only have to change one thing, and that's everything. So, we're starting to change everything. I've got a guy who completed matric, and he's now working in an accounting firm, building up to studying in accounts. There's just so many beautiful stories of how these young men, one of our young men that's gone through rehab is now 8 years clean and sober. He lived in a home where he never knew his dad. The only person he knew as a father was actually a hijacker. He was a stepfather who beat his mother so badly that he went to prison for it. But when he came back, continued the process. He said, try to set them alight in their home. He threw a petrol bomb into their house to kill them all. So they went through the trauma of trying to be burnt alive, watching his mother being beaten and not being able to help. He was the only one of the children in school that remained in school because his younger siblings, his mom had become an alcoholic as a result of the trauma. She was on the street. His 3 younger siblings were out of school, 13 years old, 8 years old, 7 years old. And he was saying to me, I need to leave school. I feel guilty. And I said, the only way you're going to help people is if you get healthy and strong. You can't pull up others while you're still sick. You actually have to help yourself. You have to do this process properly. We have to get social work in to come and help with those things, but you have to stay on your path. And he's now gone through rehab. He became a drug addict, was suicidal in a very bad state. He's now gone through rehabilitation. He's moved into the Growing Champions home. He has taken his recovery really seriously. He's developed his football.